What's going on YouTube today? We're checking out a cool spooky horror movie called Bad CGI Gator. Now I was looking through recent releases and this movie came and popped out and it caught my eye and I was like, oh, what could Bad CGI Gator possibly be about? Is there a gator in this movie? Is the CGI bad? I don't know. So I loaded it up because like how bad could Bad CGI Gator possibly be? It's plot time, baby. Oh yeah, it's plot time. So the movie opens up in southern Georgia, and there's an old man, and he's fishing, and he like is walking out to a dock, and there's like a little stick sign that says like, oh, "There's gators here, warning! Watch out for the gators!" And he like picks it up and tosses the water. He's like, "Ain't nobody gonna tell me where to fish." And then so he walks out on the dock and he sits on the end and he's got a sweet hat on that says, "If you ain't a hemorrhoid, get off my ass." Oh, that's pretty cool, I gotta admit. And he hooks a fish like right away and it snaps his line. He's like, meh. So he goes to leave and there's like a cute little aw baby gator in the water and it's just like rick, 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 rick. And he's like, "Oh, come back when you're big enough to eat more." And he just leaves and it rolls the credit. And like as the title sequence is going on and it's showing all the people that worked on the film, it's definitely like they got the cameraman to like have a waterproof camera and just like slightly submerge it under the water and like move it around like a gator's going through the water. Like it's definitely like somebody's holding it with their hand under the water and going like make a little boat sound because it's it looks really funny. It's kind of cute because you're like, oh, it's a little baby gator swimming through the water. But so the movie opens up and they're like a bunch of like young teen 20, I'm gonna say like starting college kind of age kids, and you could tell they're young because they're saying all cool slang like, "Yeah bro, eat me a beer fam," and "Oh slay," taking like selfies and stuff. And they film in vertical video, which is the big giveaway. So you're like, oh, those are not, I'm an old man and that's not my generation. So, and they're just talking. They're like, "I'm gonna be an influencer when I grow up." I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the gym when I grow up." And it's one entire hour of this is the joke for the characters. And it kind of sucks too because like the actors seem good. Whoever wrote this movie, if anybody wrote the movie, is at fault here. But I'll get into it later, but it's definitely like they're just like your stereotypical college kids. Like it's so bad that like literally one of the guys' name is Chad. Like he's playing a Chad and he is a Chad. So like, anyways, you get my point. I'm ranting. I'm an old man, and the young kids are being young, and I don't like it. So they all hop in their car and they arrive at a lake, and they're all hopping out, and they're like, "Yo, I call the master bed, bro. No, bro, I call a shotgun." It turns out it's Chad's uncle's cabin that's like off the grid, and the uncle is like a gun-toting drug dealer. So there's just a bunch of weapons around the house, and they're here for the weekend. I guess it's just a cool weekend getaway. And there's like, it's not a montage, it's just the movie just goes on for like the first at least 20 minutes where they're just working out and taking influencer pictures and just being millennials, zoomers, Gen Zs. They're being Gen Zs. They're just zooming around. They're being like, "Oh, your butt looks so good in this photo. Oh my god, thank you." "Yeah, bro, my abs look sweet from the gym." Blah, 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 blah. Like this movie's an hour long. You kind of like realize that there's six of them in total. There's three guys, three girls, and two pairs already like couples, and then there's like a guy and a girl, and like you can kind of tell that, oh, they want to be a couple but they haven't committed to that. And that is the entire like depth of the characters here. They're all college kids, and these ones are fucking, and these ones I want to be fucking. So yeah, like I was saying, it was like 20 minutes in, and we finally have our first like story development into this hour-long movie, and it's more like 55 minutes, and there's credits. So like this 50-minute movie. There's 18 minutes, okay? It's 18 minutes into the film, and we have our first story development where they're on a dock, and the one chick's like, grab all your laptops and meet me out on the dock. I'm gonna shoot a video. And they're like, okay, Stacy, we'll go there and stuff. And then they're all on the dock, and she's like looking at the camera, and she's like, we're young and free and wild, and we have the whole world in front of us, and we don't have to just get boring jobs and be boring people. Blah 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 blah. And and then they throw all the laptops into the lake as like proof that they're young and wild and free. And they're all like, oh my god, your video is great. And she's like, I know, let's get drunk. And this is story development. So then like the little gator is swimming around the lake, and it finds one of the laptops, and it's like, and it goes to like bite it, or it does bite it, and it gets electrocuted by the laptop. And for some reason this makes the gator grow bigger. It's now a normal size gator. I don't know why it needed to be like a baby gator just so they could make it big, but somehow being electrocuted turns this gator into a normal size gator. So we have progression in this story. Congrats. We're 20 minutes in, and we have our first story development, which is gator bites laptop. So far so good. So it's now nighttime, and they're all inside playing beer pong, and the bros are like, yeah bro, we practiced so much at beer pong, we're sick at this. And then the one couple goes to leave to like look up at the stars, of course, like they're definitely, anyways. And there's the one couple, there's like Chad and his girlfriend and the like wannabe couple, and you find out a little bit before this that girl from the wannabe couple and Chad are like siblings, and they're playing beer pong, and like everybody can tell that these people want to get together. So then they're like, oh, if you lose this game of beer pong, you guys gotta hook up. And like the guy's like, I don't know about that, Chad. The chick's like, you know what, fine. And it's weird because I realized that like this guy challenged them to like a dare, but he's the dude's sister, so he's like, if I win, you have to fuck my sister, which that's kind of a weird like undertone to the movie. They might be step siblings, but still, like, I don't know if that was meant to be a joke or if they didn't write it properly or like whatnot, but I don't know. Anyways, this kooky banana world, we're watching a gator movie anyways. So they're playing beer pong, and the couple's out there, and they're hanging out, and they're watching the stars. And there is like a really good line here. It's, I think, the only like bro joke in the whole movie that caught me off guard and made me like laugh. And I don't know if it was because they're really bad most of the time, but they're like looking over the lake, and there's like a nice mist or fog floating across the lake, and the bro's sitting beside his like girlfriend. He's like, whoa, do you think all that stuff on top of the lake is just the frogs getting high or something? And then she's like, yeah, maybe. Like, it's such a stupid joke, but at least it's like kind of clever. Like all their other jokes are really bad, but that one I was like, oh, that's pretty funny. Like, maybe the frogs are getting high. And anyways, so they're like hanging out, talking about frogs and stuff for like way too long, and then it gets romantic and stuff, and they're like, and stuff's starting to happen, and then the like bro dude's like, crap, I forgot my condoms. And she's like, oh, you always forget, and he's like, don't worry babe, I'll be right back. And he like blindfolds her. Well, he goes into the cabin, and she's out there blindfolded, and she's sitting by the lake by herself. And after a while, she's like, oh, hurry up, it's cold out here, blah, blah, blah. And there's like a, it's definitely like a gator noise. And she's like, oh, is that you, Craig? Oh, Craig, you're finally, oh, I'm so excited that you've come back to me. And it's a, it's obvious. It's finally happening. I'm so excited. The Bad CGI Gator is there. The gator comes out of the water, and it's and it sneaks up on the girl, and she's like, oh, you're finally here, Craig. And it bites her leg and starts like tearing it back and forth. And like, the gator's awful. The movie's called Bad CGI Gator. But the mouth tracking on this is actually kind of good. Like I'm watching it and it's like it's not doing stuff. Like obviously somebody who made this knows what they're doing, but anyway, it's just like and it rips her leg off and like tosses it up and like tail whips it into like the distance. It does like a Yoshi tail whip. And then there's like a little bit of a time skip. Finally, the dudes come back and he's like, "Babe, I got the rubber. We can finally have fun." And he's like, "Babe? Babe, where are you, babe? I can't believe she left." And he's all like, looks for her for like 2 seconds, just like, "Oh, this sucks, bro." And he like starts drinking and he like sits down beside the lake and he's like, "Oh, I can't believe, we were gonna have fun tonight and she just ditched me." And then the gator comes out of the water and like it gets him. So then it cuts to the wannabe couple and the like Chad bro and his girlfriend, and the wannabe couple beats them at beer pong. He's like, "Yeah, yeah." Bro's like all sad. He's like, "Damn it, I really wanted that guy to fuck my sister." And there's like music playing and there's a scream that's heard, and they're like, well, the one guy's like, "Wait, did you guys hear that?" And they're like, "What?" And he's like, "Turn the music down." So they're like, "Okay, you're harshing my mellow, but whatever." So they turn the music down and they all like scurry over the window and they're like looking out, and I don't know what his name is, but I'm calling him Craig. He's like sitting by the water and he's all like hunched over and they're all like, "Oh, what's bro doing out there?" And he's like, "Bro's max chilling. Look how relaxed he is. He's definitely just max chilling out there." And he flops backwards and his head's gone. So they're all like screaming at the window, like, "Ah, what happened?" And they just run and they all just sit in like a circle in the living room and just, it looks really weird. They're all like, "Ah," and sit down like they're about to do like show and tell. And they're sitting there. And then the gators comes and it's like sneaking up to the house and it's all like, "Meh," or it's a gator, so it's all like rah, rah. Anyways, it sneaks up to the house and it gets up on its like hind legs and it's like trying to like look through a window, and they're like, "Oh, it's a good thing like the gator can't look through the window," basically. And then it's like just looking at the door and there's just the most casual like there's just a knock on the door and they're like, "Who is it?" It's just like the gator's like, "House cleaning." And they don't come to the door, so like the gator rings the doorbell and then like scurries away like it's like Nicky Nicky Nine dooring it. And it just hops up on the roof and it's just on the roof of the cabin for a bit. And they're like, "Where's the gator?" And it just flies away. It just like randomly starts flying away, which is, this is what this movie needs. Like, just be ridiculous about the gator. Like, that's so funny. Have the gator doing wacky stuff the entire time. So like the Chad guy's like, "Don't worry, I'll get us out of here." So he grabs the katana and he puts like a helmet on and he's like, "Don't worry guys, I'll go out and I'll save the day." And they're all like, "Oh my god, you're so brave, Chad." And he's like, "Definitely brave." And he like steps outside and he's like, "I'm not feeling so brave anymore." And he's like sneaking out there and he's like looking for the gator. He finally gets to the car and he checks the backside, and the chick who was like having romance outside is there and she's missing a leg, and he's like, "Oh god, you don't look so good." So he tries to like bring her back to the cabin and he's like moving, and then finally the gator shows up. And like it's so funny, she just disappears and he's got like his katana and he's like sword battling the gator and the gator's trying to get him, and it's you can see for yourself, like it's just perfectly like Bad CGI Gator attacking him, and like they're fighting for a bit, and the whole thing gets resolved when like the gator just flies up in the air and it plays like a little bit of like a martial arts noise, or like it's like, and it just flies up and it just comes down and just eats them whole. Like he just cheated. It's not fair, but I love it. And that's definitely like my favorite part of the movie. And then they're like, "Oh my god, Chad got eaten by a martial art gator." And they're all like panicking inside. And then the gator just like comically burps and like slithers away, and they're all like, "Oh my god, Chad's dead." And they're sitting there. His girlfriend's like, "You think he's okay?" And they're like, "Yeah, I think he's probably fine, actually. Like, he didn't get eaten whole, so he's probably fine." She's like, "Oh, that's good." And then there's another knock on the door, and they're like, who is it? Did somebody order pizza? And they go, and it's the like legless girl, and she's there, and they're all like, oh, you're here. And start pulling her in, and the gator comes and it grabs her by her other leg because the gator bit off the one leg, so it grabs the last remaining leg, and she's all like screaming, and it pulls her and the blonde lady out of the house. So it's just the like wannabe couple in the house, and they're all like, oh, and like look outside. There's like the blonde lady, and she's scared, so she's like trying to hide behind like a basketball hoop from the gator. I don't know. It's fun. I like it. It's kind of fun. It's cheesy, but like it's funny. So they're like, oh, we gotta save Stacy and stuff. So they go and they're like, what do we feed the gator? And they're like, we only have that vegan dip that Stacy made. And they're like, that's as good as we got. So they have like spinach dip, and it's just in a small bowl too, and it's already like mostly gone, so it's just like the leftovers from like a party of spinach dip, and they like toss it into the yard, and the gator's like, is that food? And starts slithering up, and then this gives Stacy like an opportunity to like run to the car, and Chad had dropped the key out in front of the car, so she's like trying to get it, and like the gator's like eating the like spinach dip, and then it's like, oh, this isn't meat, this sucks. It goes after like Stacy, and they're like, oh shit, I think we pissed it off. She's like reaching for the key, and the gator grabs her by the arm, and the people inside are like, screaming. So then they're just hiding inside while everybody else is like dying outside. There's the generic plot development of the like wannabe couple maybe becoming a couple, and they go to like kiss or something inside because everybody else is dead, and they're all like, oh, maybe we're gonna die soon too, and we don't have much time left on this planet. So they go to like kiss, and then like the gator interrupts them. They're like, okay, no romance. So then it's the next day, and they decide they're gonna make like a run for it. So they take like the Bluetooth speaker, and they decide they're going to crank music on it and throw it at the back door. And the gator should go and try to get the Bluetooth speaker, and then they can make it to like the vehicle. So crank it up, and they huck it at the back door. And the gator, sure enough, is like, and scurries around to the back of the house. So they're like running it, and they're like hopping in the car. But this plan backfires because the Bluetooth speaker has electricity. So the gator bites the Bluetooth speaker and becomes like Mega Gator. So it's just like a massive gator now. So they're like in the car, and it's like gong, 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 coming around the corner. And they're all like, oh, that's a big gator. And they're like driving, and the giant gator's like gong, 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 coming after it. And then it's just like the Bluetooth speaker runs out of battery, and the gator just like shrinks back down to like a really small baby gator. And they're like, oh, the big giant mega gator is now small. Oh, okay. And they don't like try to kill it. They don't keep panicking and driving away. They're just like, oh, well, that's resolved. So they just very calmly drive away down like the dirt road and onto the freeway. And that's the end of the movie. Yeah, that's how the movie ends. It's just the like evil mega gator runs out of battery in the nick of time, and everything's happy. So basically, it's review time. So this movie is only an hour. Like, thank God, it's only an hour. The joke's funny, like it is a bad CGI gator, and the parts in the movie with the gator are pretty good. Like this movie, I don't know how much money it would have been to like do the bad CGI gator. I feel like it wouldn't have been that much, so I really wish they did more with the gator in this. There's just a lot of potential here, especially once you had like the gator flying around. Like you could just, I don't know, make him like a cool like boxer. He's like punching, or he's like doing like flying tail whips around like he's a Street Fighter character. They definitely could have expanded on it, and they could have done more with it because everybody's here for the bad CGI gator. The gator is like there for the first like intro scene and doesn't show up for like the first 20 minutes when it bites the laptop, and then it doesn't actually attack anybody till like 30 minutes in the film. So the first 30 minutes, like if you were to watch this movie, you could 100% skip the first 20 minutes of the film, because it's all just them doing like Stacy and Chad jokes like, bro, oh, I hope I don't get fat from drinking all this beer. Don't worry, man. You go to the gym a lot. I do go to the gym a lot. Like, it's all that. Literally up until pretty much the gator appears, and it doesn't really stop after that. But, like, definitely you don't need the laptop scene for it to be like slightly bigger gator. So if you were to like, I want to check this out, just skip the first 20 minutes because you're not missing anything. There's basically no character development. The like a little bit of like character stereotypes you'll get in that like 10 minutes before the gator shows up anyways. So I would just skip the first 20 minutes. I don't know, like maybe you like that humor. This whole movie very much feels like it's a little, especially the humor, it feels a little dated. It feels like I could see this being a like 15-minute college humor skit from like 6 years ago, and if it came out then, it would just like, it would fit in perfectly there. The joke, like a very stereotypical joke that has definitely been overplayed, and they don't do anything special with it, and it's the same joke just rehashed maybe 100 times in this movie. So like it really sucks because like it really like, I was like, how long is this movie? This is like, I don't know what they would have done if this was a feature length movie. Like they obviously had to stretch it for an hour. So like I would just put more gator in. It really kind of like killed the spirit. I was like, give me the gator, and it just it wouldn't give me the gator soon enough. And then yeah, even when the gator shows up, it shows up and it's maybe on screen for like 5 minutes of the entire movie, which is kind of like fine. But like, oh, they could have done so much with the gator, and they didn't. The like acting was fine in this. They are all playing pretty much generic characters, but like they were fine. Like the script was bad. It wasn't really the acting was bad. It definitely came off as like they got an Airbnb cabin maybe for a week because they had to like set it up, so maybe a weekend. But they definitely seems like they like shot and filmed this over the course of like maybe 2 days and one night. But like the movie only takes over place over that much time, but it does seem like it was a little bit rushed. Like it's a movie about a bad CGI gator. The fact the characters are very one-dimensional is like fine, but just don't spend this much time showing me how one-dimensional the characters are. Basically, it comes down to like the characters spent way too much time talking about their wieners, and the gator was cool and I wish there was more gator. So there's really no story here, which is exactly what I want in a movie like this. Like I don't need to like have a big character arc. Like it's, thank you for just having one-dimensional characters. Sometimes you see a movie like this and they do try to do more with the characters, but this is literally just, I want college kids who are all just like, big gator, and the big gator's like, and bites the college kids. That's it. That's all I need. I knew what I was getting into, and the movie was that. And so I can't be like too mad about it. It just was like, I don't know. It felt like I had to like sit through a like timeshare presentation for like 20 minutes before my gator platter arrived, is what it basically comes down to. So it's time for me to give it a rating. Ooh, it's the rating time. How good was this? I'm gonna give this movie a 2.7 out of 10. It's pretty bad. It was like, it's in such a weird spot in my mind too, because it's not bad, it's not just like bleh, but it's also not good bad. It's definitely not good, but it's not good bad. It's at this weird spot where like I would only recommend you watching it if you hate your friends and you're like, I want to put on a movie that's gonna make them miserable, and they're gonna be like, this movie sucks, and every time they say this movie sucks, it's gonna bring a little like Grinch smile to your face, because like this movie is only good if you want to like torture your friends. Basically, you just gotta overhype it a lot and be like, oh my god, there's this movie and I watched this guy on YouTube review it and he said it was haha so funny and we gotta check it out like tonight it's gotta happen. And they're all like, okay, we'll bring all our friends over and we'll watch it, or we'll watch it online over like Discord or something. And they all get together and everybody's like getting ready and they're like, what's the movie called? And like, Bad CGI Gator. And like, oh boy, how bad is it? And it's bad. So like, yeah, if you hate your friends and you love their misery, That's the only place. Like, I don't know what that would be called. It's so bad it's fun torture. Like, I don't know, that seems kind of weird. But anyways, how bad is Bad CGI Gator? It's bad. It's not good. It's bad. And so anyways, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.